Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My name is Abdul Rahman. I want to talk about something which I've seen on the net, something negative regarding our beloved mothers Aisha radiallahu anha and Hafsa radiallahu anha, two beloved wives of Nabi Ali Satu Wasalam. A group of people who call themselves Muslims. So the first thing I like to say to them, this group of people, starting from Hafsa radiallahu anha, that we say to them that the Quran you read, and the Quran which every Muslim reads, this Quran with us has been transmitted to us by Hafsa radiallahu anha. After Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam passed away, left this dunya, this Quran was put in a book form by the first Muslim Khalifa, Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. So after the death of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Allah be pleased with him, this Quran came in the possession of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. After Umar passed away, this was in the possession of our mother Hafsa radiallahu anha, daughter of Umar ibn Khattab. Then Uthman bin Affan, Allah be pleased with him, took the Quran, the Mus'haf which she had, took it from Hafsa radiallahu anha, the Mus'haf, and made 5 copies of that Quran, the Mus'haf, and sent it to the Muslim Empire. And from those 5 copies, we have the Quran with us. So this group, this individual, is trying to disrespect Hafsa radiallahu anha. So the first question I like to say to them, Allah says in the Quran, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafizun. Indeed, it is we who have who have revealed this reminder, and it is we who will preserve it. So Allah sent down the Quran, and Allah is the one who's going to preserve it and has preserved it. Now you can't say that this Quran is the true Quran, but the people who transmit it to us, they're untrustworthy. This does not make sense. Imagine you're sitting in a sheikh's house, anybody sitting with a sheikh, and a letter comes from the post, and the sheikh picks it up and he says, oh, this is the letter of my sheikh. It has his signature on it. This is definitely his letter. This is definitely his handwriting. There's no doubt this letter is from my sheikh. But the postman who just delivered the letter to us is untrustworthy. This is against logic. If the postman is untrustworthy, that means there's a possibility the letter was forged and was fabricated. The postman was trustworthy, that's why the letter is in its true form. You can't say the postman is untrustworthy, but the letter is true. Does it make sense? You can't say that this Quran is the true Quran, but Hafsa radiallahu anha was an untruthful person. Doesn't make sense. We have a saying in Urdu, जिस हांडी में खाते हो उसी में थूकते हो. You eat from the same pot and then you spit in it. You eat from the same pot, then you spit in it. If you believe this Quran is true, which is true, la rayba fi, then the people who transmitted this Quran to us were also trustworthy. Why would Allah use untrustworthy people to deliver, transmit this Quran to us? Hmm? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all truthful. So you can't say this Quran is true. At the same time, you say they are untrustworthy. This does not make sense. Imagine, I'll give you another example. You cook nice food in a nice clean plate and you give it to someone. He or she eats it and the remaining throws it back to your face. What do you call that person? Hypocrite. Evil. जिस हांडी में खाते हो उसी में थूकते हो. That's number one. Second point, talking about Amma Aisha radiallahu anha, Mother Aisha radiallahu anha. If you open Surah An-Nur, second page, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about an event. Event took place in the time of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Some munafiqeen in general, slandered Amma Aisha radiallahu anha. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Surah An-Nur in her defense. Allah revealed the Quran in her defense. Open Surah An-Nur, open the second page, and Allah talks about this event. And at the end of the event, at the end, almost end of the verse, sorry, at the end of the page, near the end, Allah said, يَعِذُكُمُ اللَّهُ أَن تَعُودُوا لِمِثْلِهِ أَبَدًا إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. يَعِذُكُمُ اللَّهُ أَن تَعُودُوا لِمِثْلِهِ أَبَدًا إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Allah admonishes you. Allah warns you. Allah gives you nasiyat. Do not repeat something like this ever again if you are believers. Do not repeat something like this ever again if you are believers. One or two Sahaba radiallahu anhum got sucked in. Afterwards they repented. So this ayah applies to this group today. Allah warns you. Do not repeat something like this ever again if you are believers. But what do we see from this group? Again, saying negative things against the wives of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. So according to this verse of the Quran of Surah An-Nur, you are not believers. يَعِذُكُمُ اللَّهُ أَن تَعُودُوا لِمِثْلِهِ أَبَدًا إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. So according to this verse, you are not believers. Now, I'd like to ask the question, that which group of people, which religious group of people, other than this group, other than those who call themselves Muslims, who disrespect a wife of a prophet? We know who they are. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam had two wives. Could have had more, but we know that they definitely had two wives. One, Sarah alayhi salatu wasalam, the other one, Hajar alayhi salam. Sarah is the mother of Ishaq alayhi salatu wasalam, and Hajara is the mother of Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. We as Muslims respect them both as our mothers and love them both, and love both Nabis, both Anbiya. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, both sons, Ishaq alayhi salatu wasalam and Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. But this other religious group of people, they only respect Ishaq Other than respect Ishaq, but they claim to respect Ishaq alayhi salam and Sarah alayhi salam. But when it comes to Ismail and Hajira alayhi salam, they say negative things about, really awful things. So this group who claims to be Muslims are that group in this nation. Same thing. So when we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim means Ishaq, Ismail, Sarah, Hajra, all alayhi salatu wasalam. But what do we see? This group among who claims to be Muslims, they respect Khadija radiallahu anha. And when it comes to Hafsa and Aisha radiallahu anha, they disrespect them. So they are doing the same thing what that religious group is done. Same thing. They're following the footsteps. Now let's talk about the verses which this individual is trying to bring to defame Hafsa and Aisha radiallahu anhuma. Amma Aisha and Amma Hafsa radiallahu anhuma. Surah Al-Tahrim. It is known Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam used to like drinking honey. I think Ali Saddam Islam disliked that any negative smell come out from his mouth. He was the best of creation. So Nabi Ali Saddam Islam would go and drink honey from one of his wives, Ali Saddam Islam. So go to her house and drink honey from one of the wives of Nabi Ali Saddam Islam. So Amma Aisha and Amma Hafsa, having a natural jealousy for Rasulullah, so he may spend more time with them than rather than with her. This was a natural jealousy, nothing more. Spend more time with them than with his other wife. So they, Allah be pleased with them, said, when Rasul come, when it comes, we're gonna say, or they advise each other. They ask him, what is this negative smell coming? Then Rasulullah, when they said that, then Nabi wasalam, I don't know the wording of the hadith, I'm just giving you explanation. The Nabi wasalam decided not to drink honey. Then Allah revelated the verses, why you may, O Prophet, why are you making haram which Allah made halal? Paraphrasing, no exact translation. So in that context, Allah revelated the verses about what this individual is quoting. That's all it was. That's all it was. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam didn't want to drink honey. After that, then Allah revelated the verses. But what do this group? This group is doing exactly what that other religious community done in the history. Negative things about Aisha radiallahu anha, negative things about Hafsa radiallahu anha. Yet this Quran, again I said, this Quran, they recite the same Quran which Amma Hafsa radiallahu anha transmitted to us. And Allah defends Aisha radiallahu anha and he says, Ya'idukumullah, Allah warns you, don't repeat like this ever again. If you open Surah Al-Ahzab, Allah says, An-Nabiyyu awla bil mu'minina min anfusihim wa azwajuhu ummahatuhum. The Prophet is closer to the believers than their own selves, and his wives are their mothers. His wives are their mothers. Mu'mineen. Again, Allah uses the word mu'mineen. The Prophet is closer. Al-mu'minu awla bil mu'mini. The Prophet is more closer to the believers than their own selves, and his wives are their mothers. That means if you do not consider Prophets ﷺ's wives to be your mothers, again, you are not believers. Because Allah says in Surah Al-Ahzab, يَعِدُكُمْ أَن تَعُودُوا لِمِثْلِهِ أَبَدًا كُنْتُمْ مُؤْمِنِينَ. Here Allah said mu'min again. The Prophet is more closer to the believers than their own selves, and his wives are their mothers. So if you do not consider the wives of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, if this group does not consider the wife of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam to be their mothers, they are not believers. They are not believers. So twice Allah calls them not believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, وَلَا أَن تَنْكِحُوا أَزْوَاجَهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ أَبَدًا, and do not marry his wives والسلام, after his death. مِنْ بَعْدِ, after him. أَبَدًا, forever. And do not marry his wives after him forever. Why did Allah prohibit the Muslims to marry the wives of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam? The answer is obvious. Because they are the mothers. You're not allowed to marry your mother. So Allah has given that special status to the wives of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam to be the mothers of the believers. And if this group does not consider them to be the mothers, they are not believers. They're not believers. They're only a minority in the first place. They call themselves Muslims, but according to these Quranic verses, those who know these verses and reject these verses, and they know that these verses are in defense of Nabi al-Satan's wives, and it's clear cut, then they are not believers. Now we also find Surah Al-Ahzab, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling his Rasul alayhi that he's not allowed to have any more wives. He's not allowed to have any more wives, nor can he exchange them. وَلَا أَن تَبَدَّلَ بِهِنَّ وَلَا أَن تَبَدَّلَ بِهِنَّ, nor can you exchange them. So Nabi alayhi wasalam, whoever his wives were, however many they were, alayhi wasalam, and Allah allowed it for him for many reasons, but he's not allowed to take any more wives. Alayhi wasalam, he's not allowed to take any more wives, nor can he change them. So all these wives there, he has to keep those wives, nor can he divorce them and get in their places, get different wives. In their places, get different wives. So now the question I'm asking, when Nabi alayhi wasalam left this dunya, was Amma Aisha his wife? Radiallahu anha. Was Amma Mother Hafsa his wife? Radiallahu anha. Yes. They were his wives. So when Rasulullah left this dunya, Amma Aisha was his wife amongst his wives, and Amma Hafsa radiallahu anha, both were his wives. So Allah ordered Rasul to keep these wives. To keep these wives. If they had no status in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for surely Allah will order them to divorce them. So these both wives of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, both daughters of two best men after the Anbiya, Abu Bakr Siddiq, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhuma. Both daughters of these two great men. Iqtadaw billadina min ba'di Abu Bakr wa Umar. Follow those who come after me, Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhuma. So these two wives of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam were present at Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam's life, and they were with him until he passed away. And Allah ordered to keep his wives. Okay. Now let me give you a little analogy, and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belongs all the highest examples, and there is no tashbih. Just for people to understand. Imagine if you had 2 or 3 wives, right? And your mother says to you, you're not allowed to have any more wives, nor can you divorce them, and in their places get different wives. That's what she says. You can't have any more wives, nor can you divorce them, and in their places get different wives. The question I'm posing to you, is your mother displeased with your wives? Allah is not creation, just the wording. Is your mother displeased? If she says keep these wives, you're not allowed to have any more, nor can you divorce these and in their place to get different ones. No. To Allah belongs the highest examples. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٌ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. Just to make you understand. Just to make you understand. So, lastly, we tell these people, advise these people to make tawbah from this. Because what you are doing, what you're saying is kufr, disbelief. Allah already says it. Believers, not believers. So this group are not believers according to two verses of the Quran. So we ask you and we advise you to make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And another point, just to add to this point, every single wife of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was chosen. Every single wife of Rasulullah was chosen. All the prophets, Allah wanted him to marry this woman, that woman, that woman, that woman, every single one of them. However many number he had, 10 or 11 alayhi salatu wasalam, that because Allah wanted that. Allah wanted that. Okay? So amongst his wives, after Amma Khadija radiallahu anha, after Khadija radiallahu anha, these two had the highest status. And these two served the Ummah a lot. Hafsa radiallahu anha, Allah used her to transmit this Quran to us. And Amma Aisha radiallahu anha, so many hadith of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam has been transmitted. So much of the sunnah of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam has been transmitted from Amma Aisha radiallahu anha. Allah be pleased with her. Allah be pleased with her. So loving our mothers, the wives of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, is part of our iman. Is part of our iman. And having any total hatred, animosity towards them is nifaq. In some cases, kufr. So we advise those people to make tawbah before they die. You know, every ill feeling, just like I am not allowed, any Muslim is not allowed to have hatred towards any other Muslim for no reason. Just decide, I don't like him. Or be jealous of his position. Then I'm sinning, and that Muslim will be sinning. How about having animosity, hatred towards those who Allah loves? Those who Allah loves, and Allah used them to protect this religion. Allah used Amma Hafsa radiallahu anha, Amma Aisha radiallahu anha, revealed Surah Nur in her defense. And all the other Sahaba, we love them all. So we advise this group and we advise their followers to make tawbah before you die. Otherwise, you will die upon kufr and you die upon nifaq. Allah save us all.